So recently I played the Stellar Blade demo and I have a lot of thoughts and feelings about it that I wanted to share with you guys. So let's talk about it. Hello everyone, my name is Fedro and this is Cozy Feji, and on this channel we cover a variety of things such as video essays, reviews, JRPGs, and all things cozy gaming. Like many of you, I heard about Stellar Blade back in 2021 on the Sony State of Play, and this is the first year or maybe or so after this PS5 had just come out, and this game showed up in the State of Play under the working title of Project Eve. And looking at the first glimpse of this game, I was really intrigued by it. It was very much giving this post-apocalyptic, near kind of vibes that I was definitely into. So it wasn't until this year, 2024, when we got an in-depth dive of more about the plot, the characters, the whole premise of this game, and of course the combat. Well, back in 2021, the combat already looked really cool, but in 2024, when we got the release date of April 26th of 2024, I was really wanting to know more about this game. So when the demo came out for everyone to play, because I know that the demo did come out, it leaked a couple weeks back. The time I was filming this video, it was a couple weeks on the PSN store and was taken away because obviously it was not supposed to be out at the time. But now on March 29th, it was officially released for everyone to play. I definitely wanted to get my hands on it and play it because I was definitely intrigued, and I wasn't sure if this was going to be a day one purchase. But as of right now, after what I can tell you right now, after playing this demo, I definitely will be picking up this game day one. Now, I know there's been a lot of controversy behind this game, which I will go more into later, but I definitely encourage anyone, regardless of what people have to say, definitely if there's a demo out for a game out, I highly recommend you play it for yourself. That way you can form your own thoughts and opinions on it without having the outside forces kind of deterring you from playing or not playing the games. But first, let's go talk about its main story. Set in a post-apocalyptic Earth where the planet has been ravaged by extraterrestrial life forms called the Natiba. To escape death, the remaining humans have fled to outer space for refuge. To reclaim Earth and to save humanity, a fleet called the Airborne Squad is humanity's last hope. In comes Eve, our main protagonist, who has to carry the burden of saving humanity. Now, of course, we had to address the elephant in the room, or should I say the ass in the room. Now, Eve is definitely a very beautiful, stunning character. I think she's definitely a baddie, and she is serving, if you do say so myself. I think she's really cool, and I love the aesthetics and blazing of it. I know the controversy behind it is a lot of people say a lot of things about her, saying that she's too pretty or that she doesn't represent women, or a lot of incels are only playing this game just for the fact that she is hot. So there's a lot of people on all sides that have a lot of opinions to say about her. And what I feel about it is that I think she's a cool character, and I think there's always a time and place for certain character aesthetics. And also to say that she is not a best representation of what a woman's body looks like is kind of a disservice to all women when they say that, because I do hear the argument from other women as well, because I am a woman who plays video games, and I feel like if we're going to be about feminine, if you call yourself a feminist and who prides yourself as a feminist like I do, I think it's important that we celebrate all women who come in all shapes and sizes, regardless if they look like Eve or they don't look like Eve. I know for a damn fact I don't look like Eve, and that's fine. It's not going to deter me from not playing that game. I feel like we're in a different stage in the discourse where that kind of argument is kind of unnecessary. I remember watching, when I was working on my review, on my notes on it, I was watching other people's reviews to see what they had to say. Not that those reviews would sway me from my opinion, but when I was watching Mr. Matty Plays his take on the demo, a comment on his video really stood out to me that really just sums up how I feel about this video, and I'll show you with the picture right here. The commenter at Soleil Chalon 2643, I hope I said that right, states, "A character's appearance should only be up to the character designers and developers. If the game in question demands pretty characters, let them be. If it demands realistic characters, let them be. If you, the customer, do not like a type of aesthetic shown in a video game, you have the right to not purchase it. You do not, however, have the right to attack and belittle people who enjoy said aesthetic, and that goes both ways here." Some folks are really into a realistic aesthetic, and that's fine. I just wish everyone can simply go back to the way it was and just let people enjoy things. This absolutely non-controversy over fan service is ridiculous. And I 100% agree with that. I feel like at the end of the day, it's the character designers and the developer's choice to make the character set that way. And we should be accepting of all types of choices that these developers made. We're not accepting. If you don't like it, that's your prerogative. But if I want to play a character like Eve, that's awesome. If I want to play a character like Kenna from Kenna the Bridge Spirits, I can play it. Though both are very intriguing, beautiful female characters who have their own, hopefully their own beliefs and agency that I fully support. And I love those character designs. Again, it's all about the choice that the developers chose. And I think that's what it ultimately comes down to at the end of the day. I'm kind of going off a tangent, but I promise you I'll get back to the review. But I definitely want to make a video about female agency in video games. I think it's definitely an important discussion to talk about and a discourse that should be had. I just feel like the way that we're going about it is probably not the most productive way, and listening to all sides of it. So definitely looking for that video in the future. But either way, it's back onto the review. So besides that, the characters in this game are definitely come off as they're a lot hot. They're hot. Let's be so real. They're very hot. We have, of course, Eve, which is our main protagonist. And then in the demo, we get introduced to a character, Taki, who is, I'm assuming, her superior into the airborne force. She comes off as a very, very assured, secure, and very tough, no-nonsense kind of lady, but also very caring and supportive, kind of like an older sister kind of vibe. And then we have Adam, who we come to be known as a scavenger who comes to Eve's aid in her time of need, pretty much rescues her. And so pretty much throughout the game, it looks like they're going to be our party that we mainly follow, with an introduction to someone later on, but that was not in the demo. But yeah, so far the character designs look really cool and the characters seem really intriguing. What I noticed from Eve, from the little that we got from the demo, is that she seems very green and new to combat and working in the airborne fleet or force. So she just seems like a very sweet, almost kind of naive and innocent like to her, which are really interesting and very interesting to me. And I'm really curious as to see how her character grows and evolves and how they flesh out her character, because in this demo we really got very, very little when it comes to the story aspect of it. It was at the very beginning of the game, so it's very, very fresh, kind of just introducing you to the world and the environment, and of course the gameplay, which we'll mention later. But yeah, the story was very, very little in this demo, but I'm definitely curious to see how it plays out once we get the full game. Now, of course, when it comes to this game, I think most people are looking to and want to know more about its combat and gameplay. Now, for me, when I went into this game, I was expecting it to be like, of course, action heavy, a more kind of hack and slashy game combat, but I was not expecting it to be more of a Souls-like combat. When people were playing this game, a lot of people combine it, compare it to Nier and Sekiro. I've not played either one of those games. I do have Nier Automata, but after playing this demo, I really want to play that game to see the comparisons. But yeah, I was not expecting that Souls-like combat. It was definitely a learning curve for me because I have never played a Souls-like game in my life. That is definitely one of my New Year's goals, resolutions this year, is to play more variety games, and Souls-like games are definitely one of them. And I definitely do think that so far from what I played of this demo is that maybe Stellar Blade might be a good introductory to that genre. What's really interesting about this game is that it really focuses on really learning its combat. You can't just button mash your way through this game like at all. You really have to learn the cues, you need to learn the enemy patterns, and what really made this game really interesting is I had to really focus on, have the emphasis on parries and dodges, which is something I've never really done in other games. The closest I can think of was maybe Final Fantasy 16 and Breath of the Wild last year, which I know are not Souls-like games in any way of capacity, but those are the only experiences that I had that can compare to this game. What's really cool about this game is that it really made me really sit down and learn its combat, and once I got in the groove and the rhythm of things, it became really addicting, and I could really see the the fun in this, and it made me realize maybe I should really get into more Souls-like games because I had a blast. The enemies were definitely very interesting. There are definitely times in the game where the enemies were hiding and will come out of nowhere and just whack the shit out of me. I'm like, whoa, was not expecting that. But it was really fun nonetheless. What's really cool about this game is it also incorporates a stealth mode and mechanic where you can attack enemies from high up or secret spots or hidden areas. That way you can catch them off guard and either one-shot kill them or pretty much, you know, get them pretty good, which I find really cool, which makes it adds more variety to the game. Also, what's really cool is that the demo itself is relatively short. It's probably like an hour and a half or an hour and 20 minutes, give or take. And the very last, there's about 2 big bosses in this game. The first boss was pretty easy to get through because you did have the help of another character. But the last boss in the end of this demo, I'm not gonna lie, was pretty tough. It took me about 3 times to beat it, but I felt so good afterwards. And then once you're done with the demo, there's it will take you back to the main screen, and you have this boss challenge or boss rush challenge, and you pretty much get to place you into this game in the middle of the game somewhere. You pretty much have different types of stats, gear, level ups and stuff like that. And I kid you not, when I first got myself into this this boss battle, I got my shit rocked within 10 seconds. I had no idea what was coming to me. But either way, it was a lot of fun. It took me, I'm not gonna lie, an hour and a half to beat this boss. I'm telling you, I'm not a great gamer, okay? I'm not the best gamer out there. I like to play my games on easy mode. I don't really love that much of a challenge. So playing this boss, you would think that I would just tap out and just like, okay, maybe this game is not for me. But I was determined to beat this boss. I was really utilizing and learning its learning the mechanics and really learning the system. There's a part and aspects in this in the boss where each boss, or not just this boss, but all the bosses will have different rings of light around it, indicating the attack or how heavy the attack is. If it's going to be a blue ring light, the game will indicate you to do a sneak attack, dodge it, or go behind it, sneak attack, and attack it from the back. If you see like an orange ring of light, it probably wants you to focus on dodging it. And then if you see a purple ring of light around it, it will ask you to do a perfect dodge backwards, which I find really interesting. And it really just makes you really utilize all the skill sets that your player has. And even know that it wasn't until like towards the end of the boss where I noticed that you had guns, so that was really interesting to incorporate into the gameplay. There was a particular aspect where I was probably like an hour into this trying to beat this boss, and I was this close to the end, and I thought I finished, and I celebrated way too early, and I didn't know there was a quick time button event that I needed to engage in the prompt, and I missed it, and then I ended up getting bodied and died. And then it took me another half an hour to finally beat the boss. And when I beat that boss, I'm not even gonna lie to you, I felt so good. I felt so accomplished. I was on a high. I was like shaking of how excited I was when I beat it. I just felt so accomplished. And after that I was like, oh, okay, I see why people like these kind of games, because you feel so accomplished and feel like, yep, I did the damn thing. I did that, and I felt really rewarding. So I'm really excited to see how the other bosses come around and how other mechanics incorporated into the gameplay come into play when we explore more of the world and learn more of its systems when the game fully releases on April 26th. Also, I want to mention the aesthetics. I think the world in itself is really cool. I think it's really beautiful. I play this game on my my monitor, my computer monitor. It's 4K, has 60 hertz. I know that's not like super great to some people, but it ran fine. It looked beautiful. I didn't have any issues with any like glitching or motion. I turned motion blur all the way off on this, which is great that had that option. It ran really smooth. I had no hiccups or anything during my gameplay. I didn't notice anything, at least for me. And overall, the world just looks really stunning. And I just loved how like even like certain aspects which you didn't think of, like the swimming mechanics, really cool, and deep diving into certain water, and just the enemy design looked really cool. I'm really curious as to see what the different enemies will encounter during this game and how they all look and differ. But overall, I loved what I saw so far. And also the music was definitely a vibe. I know a lot of people again compared this game to Nier's music, and I'm pretty sure they did work with one of the music composers and producers from Nier, so it can definitely see the similarities. But every time you come to a rest stop, it was really cool to just chill and vibe out to the different song selections. However, from the demo, it did seem a little bit repetitive, just a little. So I'm really curious to see the variety of music that we encounter hopefully throughout the game. But either way, I'm really excited to see what this game has to offer. Overall, I loved the gameplay and the combat was really addicting and fun, and it's definitely going to be a game that's going to challenge me. It's going to take me a hot minute to beat, but I'm excited and looking forward to the challenge nonetheless. I'm definitely looking forward to all the different outfits and looks that we get to put Eve in. And overall, I'm really intrigued, especially I'm really curious as to how the story will flesh out, because like I mentioned before, the demo really gave us just like a really little glimpse of what the story has to offer. So I'm really curious as to how the story fleshes out. I don't think it's going to be as grandiose or as revolutionary or groundbreaking, but I would love to be proven wrong. I just think that this is definitely going to be a game that's going to be lean more on the gameplay, combat, and maybe a little bit of fan service rather than the story itself. But nonetheless, I'm really excited to see where this game has to go from there. Like I mentioned before, this game comes out on April 26th, 2024, and it is currently, as of right now, a PS5 exclusive. So definitely look out for it. If you guys enjoyed this video, do not forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next one. Bye.